Hi guys, it's Dre2584. I made multiple top 10 lists about my favorite songs from different music artists, with all of them being different bands, aside from my most recent one, which was my top 10 songs from a solo artist. I also made a salute on the band Queen back in 2021, but I haven't really made a video where I talked about the Beatles alone, so I thought now would be the time. I'll go through each of their albums and talk about what I think is their best song from each one. First, let's talk about what I like about the Beatles. Ever since 2019, when I really started to get into music, they've been one of my favorite artists. They have so many iconic songs that every fan of oldies rock knows, and every one is unique from each other. Not to mention they're excellent songwriters and talented musicians. The names and primary positions of the band members are John Lennon on guitar, George Harrison on guitar, Paul McCartney on bass, and Ringo Starr on drums. They all sang sometimes, but for the most part, Paul McCartney and John Lennon were the singers in the band. Without further ado, let's go through their albums. The first four albums are Please Please Me, with the Beatles, A Hard Day's Night, and Beatles for Sale. The former two came out in 1963, and the latter two came out in 1964. The one I personally own on vinyl is A Hard Day's Night. I'm just going to show the ones I have instead of displaying all the pictures right on here to avoid any copyright violations. Anyways, I'm not too familiar with a lot of the songs from these first four albums, mostly because they're not quite as popular as the rest of their albums. So what I'm going to do is just pick one song from these ones. And the one I'm picking is from their first album, Please Please Me. The title of the song is Twist and Shout. I like it for being a danceable tune, which fits the time it was released. Another recommendable song from their first album is Love Me Do. This song has a good use of the harmonica, which is something that makes this song unique from other Beatles songs. One song I like from another one of their first four albums is the opening self-titled track on A Hard Day's Night. I like it when an album opens with its self-titled track. It makes it easy to remember and gets you ready for the rest of the album. The Beatles' fifth album from 1965 is simply called Help. This is when the Beatles' music got better and more memorable. My favorite song from the album is Yesterday. This song speaks to the hearts of those who are having a hard time due to someone or something that they lost. The song's melancholy sound fits what it's about. The popularity of this song inspired the movie about the Beatles, which came out in 2019, to have Yesterday as its title. It also gave me the idea to give my most recent song on YouTube, Today, its title. As for honorable mentions from this album, there's the self-titled track, Help. When I was first starting to get into the Beatles, I heard this song on a TV commercial. I later found out it was the Beatles. Like A Hard Day's Night, it serves as a fitting self-titled track to start off the album. Ticket to Ride is another honorable mention. This is another big hit from the Beatles that has a melody that stays in your mind. The Beatles' sixth album is their other 1965 album, known as Rubber Soul. I picked out this vinyl in 2022 when I went to the mall with two of my friends. The best song on the album, in my opinion, goes to In My Life. What I like about this song is it has good lyrics and a lighthearted sounding instrumental that fits with it. It's about things in life coming and going, but the most important thing is to love the people and things that matter the most to you. The keyboard solo in the middle of the song sounds cool. It makes me think of the sound of an old ringtone. When I was listening to this album all the way through for the first time, I already knew this song, and I felt an increase in vibrance when this song came on due to the feeling it provides. Another good song from this album is Nowhere Man. This is one I remember for being overall melodic, and it's just a good song in general. The Beatles' seventh album from 1966 is Revolver. I have the vinyl, but it's not with me because it's at my dad's house. But you can look it up if you want to see what the album cover looks like. I picked it out at Target in 2020 for my 15th birthday. If I had to pick the best song from the album, I would pick a song that I find to be underrated. The name of the song is Good Day Sunshine. This is a good song to wake you up in the morning. Although it can be hard to wake up in the morning, this song can help to feel good that it's a new day. That's what makes this song special in my opinion. Eleanor Rigby is another good song from the album. What makes this one stand out are the string instruments that are used. It makes this song sound authentic and gives vibes to orchestral music. Another honorable mention goes to this album's closing track, Tomorrow Never Knows. This song is known for its psychedelic nature. It has an interesting set of sounds that are used in it, and it makes for a good way to close the album. The Beatles' 8th album from 1967 is Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. I got this album for Christmas in 2019, which is the first Christmas in which I had my record player and my vinyls. This is also the first Beatles album I have listened to in full, just a couple weeks after I got the vinyl, and I really enjoyed it. My favorite song from the album shouldn't be much of a surprise for any Beatles fan. It's the closing track, A Day in the Life. The best word I'd use to describe the song is artistic. It feels like quite a trip. The lyrics are a bit too complex for me to fully understand the meaning behind, but that's what makes the song even better for what it is. It sings a story about the life of a person, and it goes on until it has an orchestra playing every note from lowest to highest midway through the song. After that, it has another verse with a unique sound from the first part. What follows that is an instrumental part which drives you into another verse with the same sound as the one at the beginning. Then the orchestra comes back, playing every note from lowest to highest, and then the song closes on a single sharp piano chord that would send shivers down anyone's spine. That single closing note is so intense that it carries on for like the next 30 seconds. And then there's some sampled sound effects for a few seconds before the song truly ends. What a great musical experience this song is. As I saw in a comment before, it's like candy to your ears. Another song from the album that's also one of my favorite Beatles songs is Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. This song takes a drawing that John Lennon's little son drew, who he gave the name of the drawing to, and the Beatles made the whole song about some imaginary world that drawing is in. It has a dreamy sounding keyboard melody during the verses. Then there's a catchy hook that repeats the title, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. Another good song from this album is the opening self-titled track, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Because again, I have a little bit of a bias for their self-titled opening tracks. But I like how the next line after the title is, I hope you will enjoy the show. It's definitely a way to get you ready for the album you're about to listen to. Their 9th album, also from 1967, is Magical Mystery Tour. Out of all the Beatles vinyls I have, this is the one I got the most recently. It was one of the records I picked out when I went to the record store 8 months ago. What I like about this album is that many of the songs have different trumpet melodies, giving it a distinct type of vibe. It was kind of tough to pick my favorite song from this album, but if I had to choose, I would choose Penny Lane. What I like about this song is the atmosphere it provides. It's like you're walking through a trail of pennies. My Uncle Matt, who is also a Beatles fan, named her oldest daughter after the song title, who is currently 8 years old. So Penny Lane is her first and middle name. Whenever I hear this song, I think of my cousin. A close second favorite on this album for me is Strawberry Fields Forever. This was one of the first songs I've heard from the Beatles. I checked it out when I was first looking up their songs in 2019. I liked it since I first heard it for its psychedelic nature. Another good song on the album is All You Need Is Love. It's one of those songs where the title alone teaches you the song's message, which is pretty cool. I would also consider it to be the song on this album with the strongest trumpet composition. The 10th album is the Beatles' self-titled album, also known as the White Album, since the cover is just white as you can see. In the middle of 2020, I believe my stepdad John bought this album for me at the store. This album is about double the length of the other Beatles albums, so it feels more like an adventure, and that's what I like about That's what I like best about this album. My favorite song from this adventure would go to Helter Skelter. If you thought the Beatles were a calm rock band, this song might catch you off guard. It's probably the hardest rock song this band has ever gone musically. It sounds more like a Led Zeppelin song, if I'm going to be honest. It has an electrifying guitar riff to start it off that pumps your veins, and then the continuous riff and roaring vocals flow for the rest of the song. Another great song from this album, which is also a close second, is While My Guitar Gently Weeps. What I like about this song is the piano and the guitar are played well. The intro of the song is on piano, and there is a guitar solo later on. However, it's not actually played by anyone on the Beatles. It's played by Eric Clapton. This was a perfectly fitting song to feature him in, and he played very well. Another song I like from this album is Obla-Di, Obla-Da. This song has a very catchy melody that makes me feel like walking in circles and doing this kind of move. Their 11th album, and the first of their two from 1969, is Yellow Submarine. The Beatles have an animated movie based on this album, although I've never seen it. It's called Yellow Submarine, as you'd expect. My favorite song from the album goes to Yellow Submarine. I haven't really listened to the other songs on the album. But this pick will probably stay the same. This song was originally on their album Revolver that I talked about previously, but I feel it works better on here. It's kind of a kiddie song, but it has a sound that could appeal to people of all ages. It also has a cool animated music video. Back in 2015 or 2016, I filled out this song generator with Beatles songs. The question was to name a color and then a vehicle, and I was being goofy, so I made up my own color, which ended up generating We All Live in an Orangish Lime Blue Boat. It's just something I thought to point out. Their 12th album and their other 1969 album is Abbey Road, just like the album on my shirt. Like with Sgt. Pepper's, I also got this record for Christmas in 2019, and it's a great album. If I had to choose a favorite album from the Beatles, this is the one I'd pick. It has a lot of good songs that are all unique from each other. My pick for my favorite song from the album goes to Here Comes the Sun. This song gives just the vibe that it was intending, a cheerful, sunny kind of vibe. It puts me in a pleasant mood whenever I hear it. Musically, this song excels on acoustic guitar. The riff at the beginning is played very well, and they do good with driving it for the rest of the song to keep the rhythm going. Another classic from this album is Come Together. This is another song I first heard in a commercial, except this time I immediately knew it was the Beatles, since it was showing this record. This is the song from the Beatles that I think has the best bass guitar playing. You could hear the bass line easily at the beginning of the song. It also has good use of electric guitar with both the melody and the solo. Then there's the song called Something. This is where the Beatles go romantic, and the music fits that kind of theme, while still maintaining the right kind of atmosphere for a Beatles song. There are other songs I like from this album, but I'm going to end it here like usual. If you want to check out the Beatles by listening to one of their albums, this is the one I'd recommend starting with. Last but not least, there's the Beatles' 13th and final album, which is from 1970, making it their only album outside of the 60s. It's called Let It Be. Although I don't own this record, I still listened to it on Spotify before. My favorite song from it is the self-titled track, Let It Be. This was one of the best written songs they had. It has a great meaning while still being easy to understand. It's about going with the flow and staying optimistic, even in hard times. It also has an excellent guitar solo and use of the piano. An honorable mention from this album goes to Across the Universe. I originally heard a cover of this song from a singer with the name Fiona Apple. I liked it for the dreamy sound that it had. When I saw the Beatles had a song with that title, I thought it was just a different one with the same title. But it turns out it was actually the same one. meaning they originally made it. And that's every Beatles album for you, but don't go away yet. There's still one more set of songs I'd like to talk about. The Beatles have certain songs that weren't on an official album from the band. They were just released as singles, and the only albums you'd find them on are their greatest hits records. And my favorite Beatles song that's not on an official album also happens to be my all-time favorite Beatles song, and the first one I checked out when I was first looking up their songs. It's a song from 1968. The name of the song is Hey Jude. This is nothing short of a beautiful song. The lyrics were written for John Lennon's son, who's dealing with his parents' divorce. Every lyric speaks to your heart, and the melody is amazing. The first half of the song slowly builds up to the second half. That does the same thing on repeat. Na, 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 na. Hey, Jude. It works perfectly, though, and it feels like it builds up even more as it goes on. The Beatles have a lot of great songs, but this one is fantastic. It's been my number one ever since I started listening to them. Another classic that's not on an official album is the hit that made the Beatles blow up, I Want to Hold Your Hand, from 1962. As I was saying, this song helped the Beatles to rise to fame. It made for a catchy hit to appeal to the audience. Another good Beatles single from 1968 is Revolution. Like with Helter Skelter, this is another one of the Beatles' hardest songs. The thing I like best about this one is the guitar at the beginning. It kind of sounds like the hardcore version of Johnny B. Good's intro. And that's it for today's video. If you're not too familiar with the Beatles' music, maybe this video will interest you in checking out the songs or the albums I went over. Bye, guys.